I said I wasn't going to create any more videos, but something just completely triggered me. Video come up, and it was sort of returning the body of a flight attendant from the recent flight into Washington, I think it was. And literally, I don't always get emotional. I have the capacity to be emotional, of course. But I actually had tears in my eyes, and it was upsetting me. You know, for all the greatness that is America, sometimes it's actually an evil place a lot of the time. I think the biggest obvious example of the corruption in America is that when there's an incident, I think most people are skeptical whether it was genuinely an accident, and I think that in itself tells you everything you need to know. That says everything. That government cannot be trusted at all. They don't value life. Anyone, they don't value an individual's life. They will literally take people out for their own agendas. And when you actually see a clear example of an incredibly beautiful soul, you think, what's the justice? What's the justification in someone like that losing their life? It weighs on me a lot, and something needs to be done. This world is too corrupt. We all exist within it, and it's like, the government's held our lives in their hands, and it's crazy because they can't even be trusted. Um, I don't like being anti-America, but in terms of the governance and stuff, they're deplorable. They really are. They're disgusting. The propaganda that spreads from America is crazy, and most people fall for it. You know, they'll paint the East as evil, and everything's anti-America. It's anti-civilized ways of living. It's just sometimes it's just misunderstood, and we don't all have the same ways of life. But I think it's time. It's about time we all took an interest in other cultures and learn from each other, because you can't just believe the propaganda that stems from one nation. We've seen it, the cover-ups in America for so long. It's like, how much can be trusted? And I think at the moment, anyone getting on a flight anywhere near America right now, you're risking your life. Because we're seeing a lot of incidents, and even not even just that, of course. For a while that I don't want to go too deep into this shit, but the way they treat people is disgusting on so many levels. So like right now, I have zero interest in traveling anywhere near America right now. Um, I would have no interest. It's just a dangerous place where life is not valued at all. It's like money is the currency, isn't it? Of course. So how much is the value of a life? In America, not much. There'll even be hitmen, people that actually take out people's lives, and they don't even care, just for a mere few £1,000s or something. It's like absolutely mental, isn't it? The fact that people do this, it's like America's like the Wild West. It still is. It hasn't evolved much. It just looks modern. I mean, I don't want to go on about this, but we've all seen the Beyonce situation with I think it was the Grammys or something, where she's won something for country music. It's ridiculous, isn't it? Like anyone that looks at her, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a fan of her at all. I don't like who she is as a person. I don't trust her an inch. And when I see her, I just see corruption at its core. And it's like someone like that winning an award, you're like, and they look all surprised. I don't understand how people fall over themselves with people like that. It don't impress me much at all. It's like crazy. But yeah, some people fall over themselves. They get caught up in the glamour. It's such a superficial existence. I don't get it. So you look at someone like Beyonce now. If you just look at her, does she look sincere and genuine and honest? I don't think so. I think she's part of the corruption, but a completely different angle. Now let's look at a humble human being who deserves to live. Let's see. This is a video I initially saw of this person. And this is before I knew they were connected to that flight. It was only when I read through this bit here. I didn't actually know about this part. So I was watching him on the flight, and I thought, what a kind person. Like, what a nice, genuine person. And then I realised that it was someone saying about the fact that he lost his life on the flight. And I was like, what? Bear in mind, I'd only seen that after the fact. So it just said, 30 years of travel. And then I've seen some other videos, of course, since. And these are the people who I think the value of their life is immeasurable. It's priceless. And then I can't help but think how close they were to landing at the airport. Like, imagine that. You're on the flight. You're telling everybody to, we're about to land. We're coming in. I'm sure he was being jovial then. And You're literally just moments from landing, like seconds, and then it crashes, and then the airplane crashes into, the helicopter crashes into the airplane, and they land in a river. It crashes into the river, and they've all perished, and it's crazy. Yeah, it's either an accident or something more sinister, of course.
Class has kindly agreed to give us his seventh ex-wife's triple platinum American Express card, so we can all play blackjack roulette at the Indian Casino, and we're all going to stay at a Motel 6 tonight. You are a very nice man. And look, everybody, if y'all are good on the way to the hotel, he's promised to take us to the world's largest ball of twine. You're a kind gentleman. Can we have Cracker Barrel when we're done with that?
Absolutely.
All right. Anybody that does not want to go to Paducah, Kentucky, just raise your hand at this time. Everybody? Whatever. Fine. We'll go to Charlotte. Said nobody ever. My name is Ian, everybody. I am your forward flight attendant. I need everybody to turn around, look at my best friend and my work wife. Everybody say, hey, Penny. Today is day 4 of a 4-day trip for us. We started this morning in Gainesville, Florida. And let me tell you something, 5:30 in the morning comes really quick. And, no, this is a Michigan airplane, people, young lady. Go blue! We'll talk about that in a minute. That lady gets no alcohol if she continues to fight for Florida schools. It's not my fault you didn't have the grades to get into a Big Ten school, ma'am. Oh. Oh, it's killing me. We're going to take you 5... You're late. Get off my airplane. You're ahead of me. Let him back there. All right, we're going to take you fine folks to Charlotte. I'm getting off this airplane. The tie's coming off. And I've got a tea time at 2:46 p.m. So I would like to play golf today. 75?
Yep.
75, 4 wheelchairs.
You going to shoot that?
What?
You going to shoot a 75?
No, I'm going to shoot an 88 today, but that's if it doesn't rain. We know the reason we have jobs is you guys are flying. We love you. We appreciate you. We're glad you're here. Sit back, relax, and let us pamper you on this 3-hour and 18-minute flight. Oh, come on, guys. We're regional. We only go 5 miles an hour. We'll get there eventually. You're lucky this airplane has wings, for crying out loud. Speaking of, Penny, that left wing was drooping. Do you have any Gorilla Tape?
No.
That'll
Okay.
hold. It'll be fine. Yeah,
20 minutes. We'll be
get,
good.
no gorillas were hurt in the fixing of this wing, I swear. I'm just kidding, everybody. 18 minutes, wheels up, wheels down. Penny's got a commute to catch because her husband is awaiting her arrival imminently because she's sick of me after 4 days. So she's going to go home and, be with a guy that appreciates her. Oh, Penny, I said it out loud.
I heard it.
We got rules on my airplane, everybody, so pay attention. There's absolutely, positively not to be 1 ounce of mopiness on this aircraft. There is smiles only. I was a comedian for 27 years. I spent 14 years as a stuntman in Hollywood, which is why my head is shaped this way. Don't make fun of my head. You could if you'd give up and stop doing the sweep over thing. That's fine. That guy back there can make fun of my head. You can make fun of my head. Well, you've got too much hair. I've got FOMO already. And don't make me break out the stupid kid. All right, here's a kid right here. Ma'am, row 2, you ready? Why does the duck have tail feathers? It covers his butt quack. All right, you know what? We'll do a smarter joke because we're going to Charlotte. You ready? What do you call a cow on a trampoline? A milkshake. You get worse, people. And you know what? For this young lady in row 8 who looks relatively intelligent, you ready? Here we go. 2 balloons were in the desert. 1 balloon said to the other balloon, well, first you got to believe a talking balloon. 1 balloon said to the other balloon, hey, watch out for that cactus. The other balloon said, what's a cactus? It's not that bad. Life is not that bad, people. Just chill out. Welcome aboard, my amazing friends. Sit back, relax, and let's have a great Wednesday. Have a nice guy in person.
What a great guy, And then after that, I've seen other videos, of course. This is the send-off of the plane where his remains are getting returned. I have to turn the sound off, copyright and whatnot. Like, you just can't imagine how sad that is. It's like that jovial, that happy, that um, persona, and then like I said, you're seconds away from landing, and you have that impact, and then your body's going back on an airplane. Um, such a waste, so tragic. It's such a waste. And then it's just more footage, really, of things like this. This was beautiful. The fact that so many people um, were saying goodbye, and I think that's what broke me when I got upset before I did the video. I composed myself now, but you know, for life just to turn into remains in a box in a moment, and it's also unnecessary. And like this is them loading the planes, and it's like this is what your life amounts to governments. When they don't respect their civilians and they just see you as a statistic, a number. It's just disgusting, isn't it? This is what the world is. It's just that corrupt. And like I said, America's like the Wild West. It's crazy. But anyway, I don't want to fall into the weight of conspiracies, but I think like many people, I don't trust the American government an inch. Wouldn't trust them with my life, that's for sure. Um, One can only hope that as time moves forward, administrations change and the laws change and the way people are treated improves. But I think as it currently stands, it's a heavy world we live in. We're part of. Now, I don't think any country's perfect. I think there's going to be things to improve upon, but I think America is one of the most corrupt, in all honesty. And I think the propaganda that comes from there, it's almost like sometimes when something portrays itself as so perfect, there's always a sinister side, maybe. So when it calls itself the land of the free, you find it's actually incredibly imprisoned, lacking an awful lot of freedom. That's crazy, isn't it? Land of the free. In what way? In what way? Because there's so many nuances, of course. Even if you go away from that, I keep hearing about like property tax. I thought property tax was like council tax in the UK. I don't think it is quite the same thing. From my understanding with property tax is if you don't pay your property tax, then the banks or something can forego, or the government can take away your home. That's outrageous. If that's true, that's outrageous. That's crazy. So you have to work yourself to death, literally. Otherwise, you lose everything you gain. Makes no sense at all. I see things about this is where America don't realize how far removed they are from the rest of the world, and it's the government corruption of it, of course, because they just want to bleed people dry. America's all about suing people. It's all about like hemorrhaging money at every turn. So like it looks like they earn more, but they're hemorrhaging all the time. So it doesn't even make sense, does it? I may have this wrong, but apparently every person of a certain age, I think it's 18 and over, has to file a tax return every year, or at least so everybody that working has to file a tax return each year, which I find mental. Imagine the stress of that. In the UK, you only file a tax return if you're self-employed. So if you work for a company, all your taxes and deductions are taken from your salary, and it's automatically sent to, in the UK, it's HMRC. So that's where all your tax and the money goes to the Treasury and things. And they're the ones that decide what tax is owed, and if you've paid too much or too little. But it's automated. They automatically know everything you've earned, apart from self-employment. So with self-employment, if you earn over £1,000 within a tax year, independently, then you have to declare that as an income, and then you have to start filing tax returns. If you earn less than £1,000 in the tax year, then you don't have to file a tax return. It's as simple as that. But yeah, apparently in America you have to file it all the time, even though the government know roughly the money you've got in and out, and but they use it as a way to compare whether you're telling the truth and things. It's actually mental. If you think about it, it probably just serves the people that make the money men and the accountants, Always someone gaining, of course. And, I can go on a huge tangent with America and just recognize that all the freedoms that aren't there, where they're perceived to have freedoms, it's a dangerous place everywhere you turn. You've got cops who, like police, we see that where they're very unhinged. But compared to America, UK, I think UK are more personable. Where you can approach a police officer in the UK, but even if you couldn't, they don't carry weapons like the Americans. You don't walk around with a gun where you're an unhinged lunatic who maybe has emotional, lacks emotional intelligence. So they're reactive, which makes it a very dangerous situation where your life's in the hands of this person and they might be corrupt. So then they make a story and fabricate evidence. And it's like, this is what happens in America. At least that's what I see. That's the stories you hear, of course. So it stems at the bottom and it goes all the way up. So if a police officer can be that corrupt, imagine how corrupt it is at the top. And that's wild. Then you've got the situation with the healthcare. It's absolutely outrageous how much that costs, even just something basic like an ambulance or even just like an inhaler if you've got asthma. These things cost a fortune. And then you look at the products that are in the foods. You look at the people that are obese, and a lot of Americans are obese. But you look at the food that's going into them. It's like, how can you? Half of it can't be avoided. You can accuse people of being unhealthy, but even if you try to be healthy, there's a lot of shit in the food. So of course it causes these health conditions. And who does that benefit? The health system. So then all of a sudden the pharmaceutical companies, the doctors, and the healthcare providers, and the insurance companies. It's all like, it's actually crazy when you start looking at it. And I'm sure that filters down to where the food's sourced. Who owns them? It's outrageous when you start going on a huge tangent with America. It's crazy. So is it beyond the realm of possibility that people within government and other, even filtered down to different agencies, wouldn't have a plane eliminated for political reasons? I wouldn't put it past them. I'm sure they would. I'm sure they wouldn't even bat an eyelid. So, yeah, anywhere in America at this point, you're literally putting your life in their hands. And are they hands you would trust? Can't say I would. No, I wouldn't. And I think when you get innocent people losing their lives, and it's just not a good place to be. And I think, and then you go beyond that and you just look at the entertainment industry and you look at the situation. We've obviously seen it with P. Diddy, but then you're just looking at the situation with Beyonce. But then you go, she's always in the spotlight as winning everything. And then you listen to her and she's not even that good. It's like, this doesn't even make sense. How can someone be that in the spotlight when their talent is exaggerated? There's plenty of other people that are more talented that don't get the recognition. Why? Money. Of course it's money. Then you look at like the P. Diddy thing with his influence and the things that have happened there. The corruption runs rife all the way through the entertainment industry, doesn't it? And then you've got the situation with the wildfires in California recently, and that was wild, wasn't it? The fact that the water wasn't even turned on and there was none in the reservoir, and it was like, this is crazy. Like, who's running these things? Again, politics. But don't like keep being anti-America or talking negative, of course, but it's just so in your face, and I think sometimes you've got to talk about it to make people aware. But yeah, and I talk about this a lot, whenever you go to another country, you have to adhere to their culture, rules, and customs. And too many people have flagrant disregard for their own life. So they just think, oh, I'm going on holiday. I'm very aware of where you're going. So there's certain countries that I just have no interest in traveling to. And it's not me being racist. It's just I'm fully aware of what goes on in those countries. And I understand the risks involved on the borders with other countries and things like that. And I'm like, that's not a risk I'm prepared to take with my life. That's not a country I'm interested in visiting at this present time. And I don't know if I ever will. And that one I'm not interested in going to. That one I don't want to go to. So I'm very selective of where I go. And I think people should be more selective of where they go rather than go, oh, this is pretty. It's like, yeah, but what are the rules? You don't just get to take your nation's rules with you as you travel. That's not how it works. So the world isn't as safe as free as we would, of course, like. But anyway, this wasn't supposed to be like anti this, anti that, but I do go on a tangent. Like I say, there ain't going to be many more videos for me, if any, anymore. Like, yeah, I'm just tired of it all. I'm not getting the traction on my videos anyway. Like, I can't get views. It's not going to happen. And I've got things to do now. I'm just going to try. Like, I want to focus this year and just make myself happy. Yeah, and just fulfilled, really. I can't keep bashing my head against the wall. Getting 50 views, it's just a waste of time. But hopefully, when I talk on topics, it opens people's eyes. I'm not expecting people to agree with me. My opinions are my own, of course. But I'm always analysing things. But I'm very transparent in my opinions. But yeah, when I was talking about the entertainment industry, you got the situation with Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, and Justin Baldoni, and he's like, listen to that, and it's like, that's interesting. That's really interesting. Obviously, I could give my opinion now, but I think most people are aware where that's heading. And it just shows the power and influence that goes around the world. I mean, that's the entertainment industry, but it's just an example of, and people have power and influence. It can get very corrupt. And I think people just lose sight of reality. People think they're better than other people. They think their life has more higher value than other people, and that's when it gets dangerous, because a life is a life. Whatever you achieve in this lifetime is your own personal achievement. Whatever sort of money you have and wealth, that doesn't correlate to the value of your life. That allows you to have expensive things, but don't lose sight of life itself or the value of other people. That's ridiculous. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't trade myself for anyone. I love who I am. So someone else could have all the money in the world, but I don't consider them wealthier than me, because I have me. And I'm priceless. That's the thing, isn't it? So, like, how much do you value yourself? Would I want to be a Beyonce? No, in hell, I would not. I have higher morals than her. I don't know about intelligence, because I don't know her intelligence, do I? But in terms of who I am, my soul, my spirit, my integrity, my authenticity, no way in hell. I'd rather let them keep their corruption, let them keep their money. You be you. They're the ones who got to sleep at night. It's like, I'm good. I'm good with me. Obviously, that's just one example, but it's like that I think people got to stop trying to fall over themselves to worship other people. And it's like, sometimes you just got to look, take away the money, take away the glitz, take away the glamour, take away the makeup, take away all the shiny bling. Who are they at their core? Who are they as a person? And it's like, then you start to really, really shake down people and start to say, wait a minute, they're not very nice. Like, if you think about it, like, where do you, I don't really like dig at people, but where do you ever see Beyonce, for instance, like images? Do you ever see her doing kind things, helping people, speaking on, like an activist, to speak on topics that help heal the world, change society, be a positive influence? Or does she just turn up like she's like a queen or something, and everybody's supposed to fall all over her? For what? For what? You just sing music. It's just music. I mean, there's better singers. It's like, I don't like putting people down, but in that situation, I think she's postured way too high, and I think those that go frenzy around her don't even realize it's like piranhas and shit. And it's like, for what? I don't get it. Never been impressed. I don't get impressed by the fancy shit. I see, because I always see beyond it. I see beyond the makeup. I see beyond the fancy. I see beyond the money, because it's all superficial. It doesn't replace things. You still have to look at yourself every day. You still have to ask yourself, who are you at your core? And like I say, I consider myself priceless. So yeah, there is no value. There's no value. And other people should feel that about themselves too. And then maybe you wouldn't put these people on pedestals who really don't, I don't personally feel deserve to be there. I think there's far more talented people, far more humble, inspiring. Yeah. People, they're the ones that are in the spotlight at the moment. But hey, anyway, that's me signing off. Probably for a long time, maybe.